Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
Doing great.
Just feeling a little jet lagged after spending most of my morning in the car.
Oh,
Alright. So is this adequate on your end, or? Okay. Sorry about that.
oh, it's all right.
So how shall we start the conversation off?
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is James. I'm out of Wichita, Kansas. I'm in a band called Terran Severance. I run sound for a lot of local venues here in Wichita, and I do some recording on the side. I'm working with a band called Caracalla on some recordings now.
So,
Um,
what kind of like music do you play?
my band, it's kind of a proggy metal variety. It's kind of symphonic in elements. Complicated, convoluted, long songs. Not your typical mainstream fare.
Do you have a favorite song you play?
Right now, I would say it's the songs we're writing at the moment. We took a little bit of time off over the winter to work on a new suite of music, and we have this new tune we're cooking up called Red Leader that is kind of my favorite. It's got a lot of movement, a lot of different thoughts that go into it, and a sort of an emotional complexity. As we were jamming it out, unfortunately, we lost one of our friends, so it's kind of taken on that feeling and it's fleshing out as a bit of a tribute to him.
Um, that's nice of you for doing that. Something like that to him for him.
Yeah.
So, do you
You,
play a lot of? What were you gonna say?
oh, I was gonna say he was an amazing musician, a great bass player and singer. He had his own band here in town called Capybara, and they were a really nice kind of jam band.
Do you guys play a lot in Wichita?
Um, we backed down a little bit. We're working on playing a little bit more outside. We've got some Texas dates we're lining up, some Oklahoma dates. Our next show is going to be in Dodge City at the Gunsmoke Sessions, April 22nd. So, and then we're going to play with Anvil here in town May 5th, which will be a lot of fun.
Do you have a favorite place you like to play?
Oh, wherever people are into it. We played Temple Live. That was a lot of fun. Barley Corns kind of feels like home, since the Elbow Room in Wichita is no longer really the Elbow Room. But I'd probably say Barley Corns. Just it feels like that's where we hit hardest.
Do you ever play in Kansas City?
I've played in Marion a couple times at oh goodness, I want to say is it the Aftershock that's up there? I
Yeah.
haven't played there in this band yet, but we're hoping to get back out. Also into Missouri eventually, but right now we're just kind of focused on writing and then recording.
A lot of venues in uh, Kansas City are closed, but yeah, there should be a couple new ones.
Yeah, isn't that kind of like the weirdest thing? Well, we're going to play in Topeka, the booby trap, and I think it's just nuts that you have a town the size of Topeka and there's only really one place to play. It's
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's easier for a lot of bars to just book in DJs and things of that nature, where it's dance music. It's not necessarily something that completely takes over the conversation, but it lets people kind of be the star of their own show, and I think that's the attractiveness of that, whereas bands demand a certain amount of attention, which can be really hit or miss.
Yeah, I love the record bar.
Yes, I haven't gotten to go there yet. I'll have to reach out to him and see what we can get set up.
They have it's a nice new venue. So they don't, because the last place that they held the record bar, it was in Westport. Now it's in the city.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, we just want to get around and play as many places as we can, and hopefully gain some exposure. But we're all old enough that we're not doing it necessarily to become rock stars, but it's still kind of a driving force in our lives.
Yeah. So, like, what is your favorite kind of song you like to work on?
I like movements. Kind of like, in the old days where they had the symphonics things where you would start in one thing and you would expand upon that idea and then you would move into another realm and work on that a little bit. I like songs that start in a place, expand on that idea, and then move kind of like a journey, in a way mimicking the human experience where you can find yourself in one position and the complexity of all of that changes and evolves over time. So to me, that's a good song. That's an interesting song, is where you can see it develop and evolve beyond just a simplistic idea.
How many people are in your bands?
Right now, we're just a three-piece. We did originally have two guitarists, and me and him both sang, and bass player and drummer, but he left us the December before last, and so we decided to carry on. The bass player picked up some vocal duties, and it's a lot of fun being just a power trio because we can kind of turn on a dime more. With jamming, it's a little easier with just three elements. And there's a certain power into it because, like, the bass player doesn't have to necessarily take a back seat all the time. He has room to really come to the forefront. If you think of Rush, like, everybody in that band, in a way got their own leads because that's how you fill when there's only three members. The more instruments it is, the more everything has to be, like, locked down into place.
So, do you guys write your own stuff?
Oh, yes. A lot of times it'll start out with just like an idea one of us will have, and then we just start jamming on it and flesh it out. But yeah, we've been playing all originals. Occasionally we'll do like a cover for fun, but we want to be known for our music.
Have you ever collaborated with anybody?
There have been a couple shows where we've actually had guests come and play. Like, if we were doing a cover that involved two guitars, we'd have some friends from other bands come up and play with us, which is a lot of fun. As far as a collaborative on writing, we haven't done it yet, but I have some ideas with some people I want to work with around town to hopefully to do that.
Is there anybody in Wichita that is like a band or anything, or like a musician that are really popular?
I mean, right now in Wichita, we've got Dusty Grant, which he's really starting to get a lot of exposure. We have Rise Again, which they do very well for themselves. Um, it's amazing how many great artists there are in Wichita, but in Kansas, especially, like, in your more metal scenes, it doesn't necessarily rise up to any sort of great stature. We just have a bunch of really talented musicians.
Where is your music located in, like um
We
like different places, like online?
All of our songs are up on YouTube. They're on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Deezer. I want to say even Tidal. I mean, that's kind of the cool thing. Even being a local artist, you still have access to get your music distributed digitally, at least throughout the entire world. So pretty much anywhere anybody can stream a song, you can find Terran Severance and give it a listen.
Yeah. Think of something. Like, what's your favorite kind of music to play on stage?
Um, on stage, I really like something that gets the crowd's attention. I like kind of faster stuff. Nothing that takes itself too seriously. There's a lot of times that I've noticed, like, you write a song and you're really proud of it and it means a lot to you, but it doesn't necessarily translate very well when you have a crowd. So really, I'm looking to see what captivates people, and then that kind of is how we start to fill out our set list. We look for those songs that get those strong reactions. Um, and any sort of opportunity I have to just kind of have fun with it. So, like, I'll like songs that have, decently long musical interludes, so I don't have to stay at a microphone, and I can walk around the stage and actually interact with people, which I get a lot of enjoyment out of.
Do you guys like record in a studio, or like a just like in a different place?
I've spent a lot of time building my own studio in my basement, so we control that cost by recording here.
That's nice. Have you ever recorded at a like in a different in like a normal studio?
Yes, when I was in a band called Nursing Home Panty Raid, we got to record at the studio in town called the Brick House. And the thing I thought was the coolest about it was they had this old soundboard in there that I guess had belonged to Alicia Keys or something like that. It was like an old English soundboard that had been hand built and was in her studio in New York before they bought it and brought it to Wichita. But that thing, anything you put through it sounded like money. I mean, everything just sounded clean and warm and had a lot of presence. It was just out the gate sounded amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, and it's just fun too, because, like, the thing was almost 10 foot wide and had all of these knobs, and it felt like, you're a captain of a starship or something, looking at all the blinky lights and wanting to twist on everything. But, that costs a lot of money to be in a room like that, and it can be really hard unless you're really rehearsed to be able to afford to do that. I mean, there's a lot of bands, they'll go into the studio and spend a lot of people's yearly income just trying to make, 5 or 6 songs.
Do you guys have like an album out or a EP?
We have our debut album is out. We sell it, at our shows, and you can stream it. It's called The Perception Barrier. And then in 2022, we released a 3-song EP called Amina. And those are both available. And we're working on the follow-up. We've been kind of seeing which is better, to do a full LP or to do periodic EPs, or maybe just release a series of singles. I've got a lot of friends, like Dusty Grant. He releases a single almost like every 8 weeks or something like that. But it helps keep you in the collective conscience more than when you take the longer time to write a bigger piece of music and release that.
Yeah, a lot of people do like just upload those singles.
And I mean, the whole name of the game is to get people, excited. And the attention span of everybody is shortened so much. TikTok, I mean, like, how long is that? Like, everybody's looking at these little 90-second videos, and that's it. That's entertainment.
Yeah. What's your favorite social media to you?
I guess I think I like Snapchat the best because it's there for a brief period of time and then it all disappears, which kind of keeps it a little bit more feeling like a natural, organic moment. You can see it, and then it's in your memory, but that's the only place it exists.
Do you have a favorite artist you like to play with on stage?
That's kind of an interesting thing. I don't really have a favorite that we play with around locally because I enjoy just variety. Anybody we're playing with is really cool. Just because I love to see, things change and deal with something different every time. So instead of trying to make the same show over and over again, it's always really nice to work with different bands.
Who would you want to play with if like if you can play with anybody that's dead or alive, who would it be?
There's a guitarist called Tommy Bolin I think would be really awesome to jam with. Unfortunately, yeah, he's passed in like 75, I want to say it was, but just his breadth and scope, he was all over the place, from fusion jazz to early hard rock. I think it'd be cool to play with somebody like that.
Never heard of them, but it sounds really cool.
And yeah, like I'm a music nerd. I get jazzed up about like a lot of things nobody's heard of.
So, do you listen to any like Beatles?
Oh yeah. No, I listen to. I guess my only qualifier is I just care that the music's good. So I have the whole Beatles discography on vinyl. Got Black Sabbath on vinyl, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Ozzy, and then I like more contemporary things like Meshuggah. I've got their whole discography on vinyl too now. Bands like Portishead. It's really kind of far-flung and all over the place.
Would you ever want to tour with them if they're if they were alive? So I don't know if they are, but
There's two Beatles left. Our styles of music would clash horribly, but I think it would be a lot of fun. I mean, that's one of the things I admire a lot about the Beatles is, their defining thing about what a good song was just that it was a good song. They played every genre. They had country songs. They had, pop songs, of course, that they're noticed for. The psychedelic era. They just played whatever they wanted to, and I admire that. So that would be something I'd want to see every night.
have you been to any concerts?
Oh, numerous ones. Oh, yeah. I've worked as a stagehand since like 2003, so there's just been so many bands I've seen that I never would have thought to buy a ticket for. Like Earth, Wind, and Fire. I worked one of their concerts, and they were amazing. So sometimes I forget like all the bands I have seen. I've lost track.
What is like your daily routine as a musician?
It's not as exciting as it should be. I get up about 3:50 in the morning and go to work for about 12 hours. And then hopefully I like to try and squeeze in some guitar playing time. But usually it's get home and play with my kids until they go to bed, and then maybe try and squeeze in a little bit of work. But most of it is I have to block out some time. Like this evening, me and my band are getting together around 7, and we'll have 3 or 4 hours. We'll get to jam, and that's how I get anything done. Is we just block that time out and work on it. But I don't always find much time throughout the week to work on things just like I would like to.
Does your kids like music?
For the most part, they like their own sort of thing. I try to encourage that, even though I can't stand things like Imagine Dragons, but I think it's really cool that they found music that they connect with.
Do they like your music?
Yes. I don't think they like it for any deeper reason other than I created it, which is fair, but it's cool. Like, they all headbang. There's been a couple times where we've gotten to play some all ages venues, and my kids have come out and gotten to see us play. But I don't think they fully understand it, which is fine. They've got their own lives to lead and their own things to find meaningful.
Does your kids ever go in the studio and like record a song with them?
It hasn't come up yet. No. They do bother me while I'm down here sometimes. Like I had a band over recording last night, and they kept coming down, to talk about, well, this one isn't cleaning or this and that. But sometimes we'll just sit on my lap while we're tracking, and that's fine. I mean, they're little kids. I got a 2-year-old, 2 5-year-olds, and a 12-year-old, so they're not quite there yet. The 12-year-old maybe might get interested in music, but
That's cool. I have 2 nephews and a niece. So where can people find your music again?
YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Pandora, Deezer, Tidal. It's quite an extensive list here. Hold on. I can pull this up here in a second. I mean, there's so many streaming servers I've never heard of, like Flow. They've Instagram and Facebook has access to it. Boom Play, oh goodness, MediaNet. It's insane. Just like how many more of these pop up. Twitch, they even have some of the music up there. Yandex, I've never heard of that one. DistroKid like does a really good job for, of course, a nominal fee. Will submit your music to any streaming platform they partner with, so it gets up there.
Yeah. I do spoken word.
Cool.
Uh,
What sort of subjects do you do?
Mostly I just write stuff about my life and what I'm going through.
Right on. That can be very cathartic, and I use that sort of thing for lyrics. You know, I try to keep it abstract so that anybody listening to it can draw their own interpretations. But because once you give something to the world, it's no longer yours. You release music. Yeah, you created it, but it takes on a life and a meaning for each person that listens to it. You can't always be selfish with that.
Yeah. I do have some lyric videos and a full-length album and an EP.
Nice. And where can we find that?
You can go on iTunes. Some of them are on Spotify, Bandcamp, and SoundCloud.
Nice, yeah. I forget about SoundCloud sometimes.
I mean, it's nice. I mean, you don't have to pay so much.
Right. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people. I mean, it sucks because like at any level of this, you have to treat it a little bit like a business because money does go out. And if you can at least get the money to come back in to kind of match that to where you're not necessarily paying out of your own pocket for everything, it can be really nice. Otherwise, like being in a band and playing anywhere is just nuts. The expense. Like we did a run down to Oklahoma. We played in Lawton and Tulsa and came back, and we spent $3 for every dollar we made. So, or like if you're going to a studio, that stuff's expensive. $30-$40 an hour for a good one. It adds up.
Yeah, I went to a studio years ago when I was a teenager, but in Kansas City, but recording those albums, I was doing that in college, so in like at somebody's house or my apartment on a computer or something.
And that technology is so accessible now. I mean, it really is. There's a lot of people that made like really great recordings. I think was it Billie Eilish did her first album in her bedroom with her brother. They just had a computer and they made everything there. And look where that got it.
She's amazing.
She's very interesting. I mean, there's part of me that like really enjoys her work, and then there's part of me that is almost disgusted by some of it. But it's intriguing. It gets people involved.
Yeah, I would say that album is dark.
I think it's interesting. It's a cultural thing, life has gotten darker, it seems like, or at least we're gravitating towards darker things. I wonder why that is. Why is there such a dissatisfaction with life that everybody wants to express themselves through depression, where in the '60s, it just as the world's rebuilding from the rubble of World War II, they're singing "Love Me Do" and things like that. Now, in a lot of ways, our lives are so much easier, and everybody's miserable. Why?
Well, I kind of was watching her documentary, and then I bought the that album that she did in the bedroom.
Yeah. What hooked me was the "Bury a Friend." If you listen to the melody of the verse, it's the same as the Doors' "People Are Strange." If you pay attention to them, it's very similar melodies. It was like an earworm. It got stuck in my head, and then I found myself actually like listening to more of it.
I love the like all the piano, all that technology kind of stuff that's in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like her vocal delivery is very intimate. She's not necessarily powerfully singing. A lot of it sounds like she's just kind of whispering into a microphone, almost like you're conspirators and she's sharing with you a secret.
Yeah. I also like listening to Jeremy Zucker. He's really good musician. It's like mostly he talks when he sings.
Yeah. You ever check out much Tom Waits?
No,
He
but I
kind
should.
of had like that. Yeah, well, he's weird, but kind of a weird. Or Nick Caves and the Bad Seeds. They don't necessarily sing quite like you would imagine, but the delivery makes for the character of the music.
Um, just thinking of something. Can't think. I don't know what else to say.
Is this your main podcast, or do you do a couple other ones?
No, I have. Well, I do the interviews, and then I do mostly playlists.
Right on.
And then
Yeah,
I haven't.
Go on. Sorry.
Oh, I do have another podcast called Uncles and Fatherhood.
What's that one about?
I talk to sometimes I talk to book authors.
Oh, nice.
And then I also like children's books, or I've interviewed book authors that are grandfathers, but they have a book that they wrote about their grandchildren.
Okay.
And then I have interviewed like dads, just learning about fatherhood and stuff, and also do some giveaways and all that other fun stuff.
Right on. Yeah, I do another podcast on Saturday evenings with a group called For Music Lovers Only. And we got some people from around the state. We get together and we do top 5 lists on various categories. Like tonight we're doing our top 5 concerts. And it's a lot of fun. It's kind of an interesting medium I'm starting to branch into.
I mean, a lot of these people have podcasts, and it's kind of nice. seeing everybody doing it.
Yeah. Well, Daniel, I got to be getting gone. I got a couple other things to do this afternoon. I figure we're at about the 30-minute mark.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this with me.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate the opportunity to come on and have a conversation with you.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Take care, sir.
Bye.